7. Blind as a bat. Most of you know me already. Yes, I know, Serena Benson. She is back again. This is my second and final year here. Yay. Serena, sitting cross-legged on the living room couch, raised her arms in mock victory. She had volunteered to begin the introductions at the dorm meetings and seemed to revel in telling the others a little bit about herself. I like the color black and I like tight jeans, Serena continued, pausing for laughter. I also like to dance. I hate hypocrites, mean people, stewed tomatoes, Monday mornings, and winters in general. Oh, and I love to read. I'm a huge Stephen King fan. There were 16 girls in the dorm, so it took a while to go around the circle. Natalie found herself tuning in and out. She wanted to know who the girls were, yes, sure she did, but she didn't want them for friends, not real friends that she could confide in and laugh with. And she didn't want to be here, period. So trying to remember names was like planting a stake. With her right hand, she fished around in her pocket, found the pink stone, and ran her thumb across the letters H-O-P-E. Other girls, other names. Maya, Carlisa, Anna. It was difficult for Natalie to see the girls' faces clearly, but she was able to notice that a couple were African American, and that one appeared Asian. They came from all over the state, including some counties with funny names like Cecile and Wicomico, I think. Wicomico? We'll see. And it was obvious that some of the girls had disabilities other than blindness. But none were acknowledged. Maya, just Maya, I guess. I'm new this year. I was born in South Korea, but I'm from Prince George's country. Prince George's County. Natalie's mind drifted. Did her parents miss her? Were they worried? When her father was closing up the barn for the night, would he have a dog biscuit tucked in his jacket pocket? Nuisance would be waiting for it, her enormous eyes peering between the wooden slates of her pen. Natalie, it's your turn, the counselor said. Oh, sorry. Natalie let go of the stone and pulled her hand out of her pocket. I'm Natalie O'Reilly from Holly. It's a small town in western Maryland. It's okay to call me Natty or Nat if you want. I love to read, to listen to books on tape, and I'm interested in government and politics. I'm on the student council at my school back home. When introductions were finished, the counselors suggested that the two halls might want to start thinking about what to call themselves. I've already thought about it, Serena called out, waving her arm enthusiastically. Yeah, I think if we have to be animals again, then B Hall should be the blind bats. Chuckles and snorts all around. Natalie was astounded. That wasn't very kosher, Serena, a girl named Murph said. I have pretty good vision. I'm not blind as a bat. They're not blind. Bats aren't even blind, Eve burst out, stopping everyone. It's a myth. Ew, but they're like flying rodents, Murph said, screwing up her face. They give me the creeps, and they carry that disease. But they don't all carry it, Eve snapped back. They're less likely to carry They're less likely to carry rabies than raccoons. It's a myth, that's all. Serena said coolly, yeah, you know what else is a myth, Murph? You know what else is a myth, Murph? Ugh, this is hard to say. Serena said coolly, yeah, you know what else? Yeah, you know what a... Yeah, you know what a myth is. Okay, let me try one more time. Serena said coolly, yeah, you know what a myth... What a myth is. Serena said coolly, yeah, you know what a myth is, Murph. For example, it's a myth that you have pretty good vision. Girls, please, the dorm counselor called out. We will have dignified names for the halls. I'm thinking maybe the Explorers and the Voyagers. Now, just a heads up so everyone knows what we'll be doing together this year. We will be cooking and cleaning, doing our own laundry, and taking some field trips too. Just so I have an idea, how many of you have been to the grocery store? The grocery store? Was she kidding? Natalie hesitated before raising her hand. She turned her head, her small circle of vision scanning the group. But it was clear hers and Serena's were the only two hands up in the air. When the meeting ended, Natalie got up to leave. Leave. Yeah, leave. To leave. There. She wanted to get out of there fast. She wanted out of there fast. But the counselor called her back. I have a new schedule for you, Natalie, and I also want you to know that a roommate is coming. You should clear off the other bed and make space on that, make space available in the bathroom for her things. Natalie's heart dipped, because there went her privacy. With one hand on the wall to guide her, Natalie rushed back to her room and closed the door. Sitting on her bed, she simply took in a few breaths and let them out. A roommate. What else would they do to make her life miserable? Then she remembered the new schedule. She smoothed out the wrinkled paper on her lap. Even though it was printed in large font, the letters still weren't big or dark enough for her to read. So she reached over to pull her pocketbook up from the floor and rummaged around in it for her handheld illuminator / magnifier she always carried. Clicking it on, she focused on the blocks, one at a time, to see that they had now scheduled Braille and orientation and mobility, the cane, every day instead of 3 times a week. And what was this? A weekly meeting with a social worker? What for? Angry, Natalie balled up the schedule in her hands and threw it across the room, where it bounced off the wall and rolled under the absent roommate's bed. She tried hard to stop herself from losing it. Write a poem, she thought. Sometimes she wrote little poems in her head. A mistake, she began, but here I am alone. In a Spartan cinderblock cell of a room. Despicable white cane, folded like a rumpled animal on the shag rug. Insulting sign taped above the wall, over my pillow. Makes own bed. Do they think I can't see? I can see. 24 hours. She had been here for a little more than one day, and already it was too much. Her father's parting words came back to her. You'll be okay, Natty. You've got way too much going for you. That was it, exactly, Natalie thought, sitting up and opening her hands as though to argue the point with an an invisible stranger. She had so much going for her. She was a good student, a girl who laughed with her friends, who loved peanut M&Ms and fuzzy socks and Nubian goats. So why her? Why would God do this to her? Sometimes Natalie wished there was someone or something to blame, but she was born without an iris. And that simple fact was the root cause of her juvenile glaucoma. Sporadic iradia, they called it. Simple, irrevocable bad luck. The gene that was responsible for eye development didn't do what it was supposed to do. You'll have to accept it, Nat, her mother whispered in the hallway when they left Dr. Rose's office that last time. But did she have to accept it? But did she have to accept it? No. For years, Natalie had chosen to ignore the facts that they gently hammered into her. She just refused to change her way of thinking. She could never say it out loud, but the conviction was deep. Natalie was certain that as long as she tried hard, played hard, and totally believed in herself, it would never actually happen. Because how could it? How could a girl with so much going for her simply lose her sight? The fingers of Natalie's left hand gathered and squeezed the fingers of her right. She thought back to what people had told her. The pressure is up again. This isn't good. Surely you're struggling. The loss of peripheral vision is only the beginning. You've got to prepare yourself. But there was always hope, wasn't there? It's why her father had bought the little pink stone. It's why she did her stupid eye drops faithfully twice a day. Even Dr. Rose once told her there was always hope. Anything is possible, he had admitted. Miracles do happen. So wasn't it possible that his own diagnosis was wrong? And no different from all the other times when naysayers had filled her ears with their dire predictions? She was 14 now, on the brink of so much, and maybe from now on she would have to get through it by doing what she had always done, tuning out the naysayers, like turning off a radio station with too much static, and hope for the miracle.